Hello, everyone. If you're into true crime, but you like to cut past all of the fluff, the sensationalism, you have found the right place, and I'm glad you have. My name's Gavin. Welcome to my channel. Hey, we're going to continue going on in our coverage of the Madeleine Soto case. I do want to tell you, though, a couple things. Number one, we're having intermittent internet outages here in Western Pennsylvania where I live. I don't know, I've been out twice in the last hour, so I'm hoping that we will remain connected here. If we drop, we will just say, you know, we gave it the old college try, and we will come back when the internet is working better, hopefully tomorrow. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is, look, I got my fancy little voted button, and I want to make a promise to you guys right here, right now, okay? Number one, if Donald Trump wins the U.S. presidential election tonight, I'm leaving the country. Also, if Kamala Harris wins the presidential election tonight, I'm leaving the country. I got tickets. Kimberly and I are leaving the country on a little vacation coming up next year. No matter who wins, no matter who loses, we're leaving the country. But don't worry, we'll be coming back. We love our country. All right, guys. I want to talk to you a little bit about maybe introduce you to an idea in law enforcement that you may not know about. And it's not an idea, it's a technology. This technology is referred to as Fusus. Fusus is a, how do I describe this? I should be better prepared for this. But what Fusus does is it creates like a centralized location where all sorts of camera feeds feed into. So if you think in the movies where they've got like a situation room with monitors all over the place, that is Hollywood's representation of what a Fusus operations center is. Fusus not only integrates everything that the government has in a certain location, like traffic cams, I don't know, security footage on government property, you know, public cameras, things like that. But it also integrates with private security. So if you are a business in a certain geographic area that has this integrated system, you can elect to send a live feed into Fusus. Also, say you're just an average citizen with a Ring doorbell or Simply Safe or one of the other kind of cloud service security systems. They also are integrated. You have to opt in, but you can opt into sending a live stream into the Fusus data center. And of course, this is a little bit controversial because, you know, there are privacy concerns and stuff like that. And I don't mean to make light of them or anything like that. But I just want to let you know that this exists. In addition, companies like Ring, even if a customer of theirs does not sign up to live stream into Fusus, they work with the police whenever any footage is requested, and they give it to them without warrants. Now, why is that important? Why am I even bringing this up? Well, it's because Stephen Stearns was found to be a lion SOB really quickly, thanks to a real-time crime center in in Orlando that they call, what do they call it? They call it Orlando Connect. Okay. So Orlando Connect is this data center that has tons of public video feeds, tons of private video feeds. And the reason that private individuals or businesses might decide to send their streams into Fusus is maybe they are in a place where there's lots of crime. Maybe the police help them out quite frequently and they want to pay the police back with ease, with, you know, easy access to their security cameras. So like I personally think if I lived in a place that was ridden with crime, I probably would do that too. Well, anyway, Mr. Stearns here, he was found to be a lying liar really, really quick thanks to Orlando Connect. And one of the reasons that we know that is because in the 501 pages that were released to the media, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, the latest dump, there is a timeline of Stephen Stearns' movements during the time that he said he took Maddie to school. Speaking of which, real quick, I should have done this earlier, okay? Madeline Soto, for those of you who don't know, Madeline Soto was a 13-year-old girl living in Kissimmee, Florida, kind of the greater Orlando area of Florida. She was living with her mother, Jennifer Soto, and also living with them kind of on again, off again is probably the best way to describe it, was her mother's on again, off again boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. Stephen Stearns told police Maddie went missing on the 26th of February of this year. And he told police that, hey, he dropped Madeline off at school and dropped her off like any other normal day. And then when Jen went to go pick Madeline up that afternoon, she was nowhere to be seen. It turned out that Mr. Stearns, police believe, and I believe police, had been abusing Madeline Soto. He had been SAing Madeline Soto for at least 5 years, from the time that she was 8 years old. And ultimately, he was charged with multiple charges relating to that, and he was charged with her murder as well. Her body was discovered on March 1st of this year. So that's like a I guess our little intro here. Let's see. Sandy was saying, how do you spell fusus? Fusus is spelled Fusus. Okay. All right. So what I want to do tonight is I want to go through these few pages. It's like 24, 25 pages, but there's lots of images and stuff. So we are going to, it's not a lot, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Fusus, by the way, Sandy, I think that was you that was asking it. Fusus, oh my goodness, I've got a little fly in here, is owned by Axon, from what I can tell. And Axon is a provider of body-worn cameras and dash cams and stuff like that. Okay. So if you just look Axon Fusus, Fusus, you'll find it. Okay. All right. Let me go back over here so I can see it. Okay. So I just want to go through this timeline, and all of this timeline is supported by screen grabs coming out of public cameras, private cameras, and so forth. Okay. All right. So at 7:30 a.m., Stephen is seen on the townhouse complex's camera with a victim slumped over in the passenger seat. We learned about this last week, that she was slumped over into the middle of the car. She was later seen like she was sleeping with her mouth open, and so that's from the complex camera. At 7:35, he's seen on the same complex camera system throwing something in the dumpster. So the timeline is, first he takes her body out. He puts her body in his car, his parents' car, really. 5 minutes later, I don't know if he goes back into the house or if he brought it out with him. He goes to the dumpster. He throws away her backpack, which includes her school-issued laptop. Okay. 15 minutes later, he leaves the complex with the victim and U-turns on Churchtown Loop, Hunter Park. We understand it was to return and get his key fob. Okay. Now at 8:10, remember she was slumped over. At 8:10, He is seen at the Osceola County line with a passenger on camera. Passenger seat is leaning back. The reason, by the way, these are redacted is it likely shows images that you can tell are Madeline dead in the car. Okay. All right. Next, a minute later, he's seen on a red light at JYP and Thacker, westbound. I can't remember what that parkway is called. JYP, that's a parkway. And look at where, like, this is the complex camera. This is the complex scanner. This photo was taken by Learn. This photo was gathered by AIM. So they've got a whole bunch of sources here, right? 8:19. He re-enters the complex with someone in a green top slumped over. Then he leaves the complex through the back with someone in the front seat. So maybe she's not so slumped over. Okay. Now we see that was gathered by VCS3 at between 8:30 and 8:40. Stefan drops off at Town Loop, Lilac Cove. He does a U-turn at Town Loop, Huntwick to the smoke shop. This blows my mind because I'm wondering if Madeline is still in the car when he goes by the smoke shop. Like he's just going to leave her in the car. I don't know. 8:41. He's seen on the parkway at Thacker. Again, this is that Lincoln. It's gathered by AIM. At 8:48, he's on a red light camera. Yeah, and these cameras are now video cameras. They're not just, still cameras. They're taking video. 8:58, he's westbound on Central Florida Parkway. Seen on a red light camera. There is his car. At 9:01, another red light camera. And if I can just describe Fusus as I understand it here, guys, like they can just plug in the license plate that they want to track, and the system uses artificial intelligence and other logic. I mean, it's an old system that is frequently updated, but it uses logic and then artificial intelligence to scan through this database of footage to be able to find his movement. It did not take like tons and tons and tons, like hours and days of detective work like it may have taken in the past. They were able to watch him in their operations center in Connect Orlando. This is where he is here. This is where he is here and now. This is, and so on and so forth. Okay. We see him on northbound on International Drive and Aquatica's rear entrance. We see him on northbound on International, see Harbor Drive. We see him on a traffic camera, same thing, International, see Harbor Drive. At 9:04 a.m., there he is at International Drive, Aquatica rear entrance. Red light camera eastbound on Central Florida Parkway. Then 9:16 on a camera at a business eastbound Orangewood Gateway. Now this one actually to me looks like it was manually gathered. Then we see him on another red light camera. We see him pulling into Commerce Park. I believe that is the hotel at 9:35 a.m. Then we see him on camera in the parking garage, putting Madeline's body in the trunk. That one, again, looks to be like they manually grabbed it. So they have all these automated ways to figure out where he's going. When they need to do it manually, they do it manually. He's seen on camera leaving the parking garage. He is then southbound on the Parkway, Central Florida Parkway again. I don't know, AIM, they follow him the entire way. Now they see that the passenger seat is now up, right? They're able to see into the car. You can see the headrest right there. If you guys, It doesn't want to zoom up any more than that. But let's see, can I zoom in? Yeah, it's not really letting me do it. But you can see that headrest right there, right? Passenger seat is now up. They're triangulating here. So now we've got Stefan's device making an outgoing call to Jennifer. An 8-minute call at 10:17. At 10:54, Stefan is shown on the complex video at the dumpster again. Maybe he's hiding it a little bit better. Maybe he's adding something to his what he's throwing away. 11:02, he makes an outgoing call to Jennifer again. And then the phone begins moving from the apartment. The device, so he's at home when he's doing this. This to me looks like he is either trying to me, guys, this looks like he is contacting his Confederate. That's what it looks like to me. Like Jen is involved in this, but that's just what it looks to me like a layperson. What do I know? 11:22, Stefan is at the smoke shop. He is wearing a shirt that is different than the one that he usually had. This one was manually gathered. And then here he is, 11:48 a.m., taken home, photo by Learn. So that's, I believe that is in Connect Orlando. 12:49, he is on camera eastbound at 192 at Dyer. Now 2 minutes later, 192 in Emory. 3 minutes later, 192 in JWP. And so on and so forth, right? And then let's see if there's anything else here. I know I'm just kind of going through this pretty quickly, and I will post this on the website. But you can see just how easy it was for them to follow his movement. It's not hard at all. And this reminds me a little bit of I showed some video clips from Hidden True Crime yesterday where his dad, Chris Stearns, was talking about how you should have gotten ahead of this. You can't get away with this. You're on camera everywhere you go these days. What was he doing? Trying to get away with this, right? More photos. They track him now. It's 1:15 p.m. or 1:15 p.m. He's on 192. He's traveling all over the place. Now he's south at 1:16 p.m. south on Old Hickory Tree Road from Creative Inspirations Northgate camera. Look, that photo was gathered by AIM. Okay, but that's a private business. Now 192 in Mississippi, 192 in Delaware. We're now at 212. What was so he goes from 1412. Now, where was it? Oh, he's seen it 1316. So 1:16 p.m. south on Old Hickory Road. And then it's almost an hour later that he's seen on Old Hickory Road, westbound 192. So he has spent some time in there. One of the things that I've been thinking about this is this case probably presented a huge amount of challenges when it comes to crime scenes, right? The total crime scenes here, let's count them. I mean, there's the apartment, there is the dumpster, there is his car, the Lincoln, there is her car, the Nissan, and the Lincoln is like two different scenes, right? It's the front seat, then it's also the trunk. So we're at 5 scenes now. And then at the place where he dumped her body, he parked the car across the street. That's a scene. He parked the car, or then he took her and dumped her across the street, across that fence. That's a scene. And then when let's not forget the Hilton. That's a crime scene. Right. And then when his tire blew, that's a crime scene. I'm counting 9 crime scenes here, guys. The amount of work that the Osceola County sheriffs, the Orange County sheriffs, the Kissimmee Police Department, the state's attorney's office for the state's attorney's district number 9. These people are doing really, really good work. And like, yeah, they're just doing really good work. And there's no way that this guy was ever going to get away with this. The sad part in all of this is little Miss Maddie. I really wish that he had been caught in the first crime, preferably early on. And I just can't get over this whole idea that he could have perpetrated that crime for so long without anybody knowing it. I just don't get it. All right, so he's there on Old Hickory Road for almost, well, he goes south, he's seen south on Old Hickory Road, and then a little less than an hour later, 55 minutes later, he is westbound 192, right? He comes back to 192. So he's spent nearly an hour in that area. Then we've got him going. Yep, that's a 218, 219, 223. And he's getting, he's just driving around, man. He's going everywhere. And then, so 229, he's here on westbound 192 in Fortune. About a minute later, Jen goes to pick Madeline up from school. And then, we're seeing him continue to drive around. Jen stays at the school until 4:10 p.m. Here he is at 192 in Dyer, westbound. And then finally, at 3:21 p.m., he's seen throwing something else into the complex dumpster. At 4:10, Jennifer goes to Grandma's workplace, drives around Grandma's work and the school looking for her, realize Maddie is missing, calls victim's friends to see if she went to school, then returns to Grandma and goes through the victim's phone. And then again, at 4:36, Stefan is seen putting the tire in the dumpster. And it isn't until 4:43 that 911 call is made and so forth. Okay, so I guess, there are a couple things that we learned from this, I guess. And it feels like this one's kind of like we're not diving deep because there's just not tons here. But we do learn a couple things. One, Maddie was moved around in the car. She was slumped over the center console. She was leaned back in the passenger seat. She was put into the trunk. Right. So we know those. Two, and we knew this already, but now we know in greater detail that they have Maddie on video in that car looking dead. Right. They know from the time that they start to talk to, like when they do that first interview with Stefan and Jen, they already know she's dead. They already know. Yeah, this timeline is really impressive, guys. Phone is reset at midnight on the 27th. And now here goes the, I think this is the Nissan that's driving around. They're calling it the silver, but I think this is the Nissan driving around at this point. That doesn't look like that's the Nissan. So, it's driving around. They're able to follow it. It goes everywhere, following the same route that his car, and there he is, 3:35 in the morning, southbound on Old Hickory Tree. And then he doesn't come out of there for another 40 minutes. That makes me wonder. I would love to hear your thoughts on what he was doing in there. Is it possible that he moved her, like he dumped her in one spot and moved her to another? Did he put her in the car and go, I need to take her to a better spot? No, I can't. I'm going to put her back. Something like that. I don't know. But this is the white Nissan going all over the place. Same place that the Lincoln went. In the beginning of covering this case, I was like, oh, Jen's in on this for sure. But no, it was Stefan driving because Jen was back at the hotel at that point. Yeah, so, yeah, that is the timeline that they put on this. Okay. So hopefully I don't know. The whole Fusus thing is kind of scary, but also pretty darn good. So let me go to your comments here. We are going to come up here. Cindy Fusus, Fusus. Let's see. Tarpon Springs Bayou says, Gavin, I think Stefan murdered Maddie before 12 to 7 a.m. He threw back out at 7:30 a.m. and she was found in clean socks. Yeah, I don't know what... I always thought that it happened during the middle of the night. But, I mean, based on the conversation, the interview that Chris and Deb Stearns did, I kind of feel like maybe it was early in the morning, like at the morning time. I don't know, though. Mickey 39, Gavin, Jen Soto wasn't Stefan Stearns' girlfriend. He used her to groom Maddie. He never wanted Jen. He honed in and pounced on poor innocent Maddie. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't disagree with you, but we also need to use parlance that we all understand, right? And so on the surface, he played the part of Jen's boyfriend. Jessica Hoover, Gavin, I think Jen will be charged because they're just waiting for him to probably be convicted or closer to the point before they go after her. Yeah, I feel like this is going to plead out, guys. Like, Stefan Stearns is going to plead this one out. I hope so. Anyway. Gavin, what do you think of Jen being first in line in the dismissal pickup line? Sans Stefan wanted to be sure to be seen attempting to pick up Maddie. In my opinion, she knew. I hadn't considered that, but yeah, she was early, right? And she was first in line. Maybe that is an indication, and maybe the police already kind of have some idea based on her phone's normal, movements. So hopefully that is something that might be able to prove that she is involved somehow. That is a great comment. Thank you for that, Lily. Lynn, Gavin, slumped over, could be drugged, maybe still alive though. I mean, possible, but I mean, were you here for my interview with Brian Bennett, who is the strangulation expert, former law enforcement, still a law enforcement instructor? It does not take much to kill by strangulation. It just doesn't take much. And what he said was like 4.5 pounds on the carotid artery will make a person unconscious, and over not very much time, it will lead to death. And he said a firm handshake is like 60 pounds. A firm handshake between two men, not like one that's crushing, just a regular firm handshake is like 60 pounds. I honestly don't think that Stefan Stearns was planning to murder Madeline and then discard her body. I don't think so. If he did, I feel like he would have done a little better in his movements and so forth. He still would have gotten caught, but it feels to me like this is a person that's panicking, going all over the place. I think he went to the vape shop just because he's like, I need a cigarette. I need a vape right now, So could she be drugged? Yeah, it's in the realm of possibility. For me, it's not in the realm of probability, though. I think she was probably already dead. But having said that, Lynn, Brian Bennett, his thought was that Madeline was killed in the car. So you're not alone in thinking that. I just respectfully have a different opinion. Good. Yes, the John Young Parkway. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, guys. It's been said that he returned to the condo with Maddie in the trunk and chit-chatted with Jen. It's trying to be, I don't know, does that indicate that he was, that she was in on it somehow, or does it indicate that he's trying to make it feel normal? It's just another normal day. I just took Maddie to school, which I never do, but normal day here. I don't know. Gavin, Jen's April interview told me all I need to know. Still lying, being evasive, no tears, no distress. And if I can add to you, Tarpon, defending Stefan, right? Being more concerned about Stefan than her own daughter. Good call. Gavin from Sandy, speculation regarding the dog leash. Did he need it to keep Maddie upright? Horrible thought. I don't know. I mean, when you look on the inside of the car, which we can do here real quick, let's go over to the website and let me go down to, there's so much here, guys. Let's go to the car. Just when I think I'm going to be there, you can see on that front passenger seat that there is like a seat belt for a dog. They're in like all the seats. They have these, that's the back seat, of course, but they have these seat belts for their dogs. So did he need the dog leash to keep her upright? No, I think he had everything he needed in the car. And he probably finally, after like her slumping over and falling over multiple times, he probably leaned the seat back, let gravity do that horrible, disgusting work for him. It's a great thought, though. I mean, it's possible. Yes, my internet connection is bad, guys. We're having issues tonight. And so thanks for being, patient with me on this. Gavin, did they know if he essayed Maddie the last night she was alive? We don't know. We don't have the autopsy report. We don't have any toxicology. We don't have any we have some lab reports, but we don't have any lab reports that get into that part of it. So I don't think that we know yet. Thanks for that question. Yeah, Gavin, this would be an excellent timeline exhibit for trial. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure they will. Gavin, I recall when they found Maddie's belongings in the dumpster, it was covered in paint. That's right. That is right. Did they say if he did that or if someone threw away paint and it just got on her stuff? So I don't know the answer to that question, but we can go to the photos and we can see, bring you guys over here. Like, it looks to me like that paint is pretty, just covering the stuff that Stefan, like that's her backpack, her crock, covered in that white paint. It looks pretty localized to me, pretty specific. So maybe that was what he was doing on that second and third round, right? The second round, maybe he was putting paint on it to cover up what it looked like. Just in case somebody looked in the dumpster for a very obvious looking backpack that would be Madeline's. Maybe that's what he did. That's a great comment. Great comment. Let's see. Hey, Gavin, I feel like I've seen all of this info on other channels. Yeah, Gigi, you probably have, because I don't race to be the first on this. I really try to spend a methodical amount of time looking at everything. And I honestly think that many channels like Hidden True Crime and, Grizzly True Crime and The Interview Room and like all the channels, we're all going to have a different take on it. Right. So yeah, I don't mind being the last to this at all. Gavin, do we know if any of the photos were taken in Jen's bedroom, or do we know the location of where the photos were taken? Based on the stuff that I have seen and gone over, we don't know where those photos were taken. And I'm sure they were taken in different places. Amy from Northern Ireland, glad that you're here. Thank you. Adstein, Frankenstein? I don't know. Gavin, I can't get past when the detective asked Jen, would you be surprised if there were pics of you on his phone with Maddie? It was the day they found her body that he asked that. I don't remember that specifically. Was he talking in terms of the SA pictures or just like photos on his phone? I don't know. Built to help art. Gavin, you look stellar in that ascot last night. Guys, I've already got a big enough ego. You probably, it's dangerous to be putting in comments like this, but that ascot is fetching. It really is. And I look way too young to have a full-grown man son. I have a beautiful family, sir. Yeah, my wife and I, he is not our oldest. He is our oldest son, but he is not our oldest child. Kimberly and I have 5 children, ranging in ages from almost 24 to 9. So, yeah, we're about to have our 25th anniversary. Pretty awesome. Destiny Deluzio. Gavin, did you see the reports of supposed cocaine and meth? Yeah, I went and looked at that closely. That was just a log from an evidence room. So those were from many different cases coming in, being logged in and out of evidence. So I don't think that the cocaine and meth had anything to do with this case. It had a different case number on it. Amy. Gavin, my heart breaks for Maddie. She probably never felt loved or cared about. It is so sad, and it really is. It really is. The system refreshes every once in a while and kicks me off from where I was. Here I am. Okay. Let's see. The 40-minute visit at 3 a.m. All I'll say is Bundy. I'm sorry, this case is so dark. Oh, yeah, that's scary. Gavin, Stefan took the Nissan on the same route. Yep. I wonder if they found any of Madeline's hair with the death band in either vehicle. Well, there are a couple reports. I'm trying to think. The death band thing, I have not heard anything about. Madeline's hair would be in Jen's car. It would be expected to be in Jen's car, right? But in that Lincoln, I don't think so, because that is his parents' car. That wasn't his car. He drove it up there Sunday. She died Sunday night or early Monday morning. So, and of course, I know that Maddie was in the car when he took her to ultimately where he dumped her. But I'm just wondering, evidentially speaking, if and when they find Maddie's hair in Stefan's Lincoln, I would imagine that would have greater weight than finding it in the Nissan where one would expect it to be, right? I think the defense will be able to, I don't think the defense will be able to defend from hair being found in his vehicle. Mina says, Gavin, maybe he went back to get rid of evidence or move her. Poor Maddie. Yes. Mina, I love your name. That is a great name. Did you guys ever watch Penny Dreadful? Was that on Showtime or HBO? It's a couple seasons. It was like this macabre, supernatural vampire werewolf thing. And Mina was in Bram Stoker's Dracula now that I think about it, right? I do love that name. That is a great name. Yeah, so maybe he went back to get rid of evidence or move her. Maybe. I don't think that he was smart enough, though, guys. I really don't. My daughter always left early so she could be first in line to pick up her kids. I think that's normal. Yeah, I think Nifty 50, it would, if her cell phone data shows that is her normal pattern, then it is normal. If it shows that it's not her normal pattern, then that would be one other kind of radius to triangulate on Jen's involvement. Gavin, I truly believe that Jen is the type of person who is so desperate for a man, she would sacrifice him, anything to keep him. Poor sweet Maddie. The video on Orlando 35, she's consoling him. Yeah, I have the same feeling. I don't know that, but I have the same feeling as well. Yeah, let's talk disabilities. You're not the only one thinking that. It's a pretty sad thought. One crock in Jen's bedroom, the other in the trash. Very perplexing. Yeah, and I know that some people believe that that's an indication that she was killed in Jen's room. But the defense would say, well, Maddie took off one shoe in Jen's room and one shoe in, wherever, Stefan's room. I don't know. I'm not saying Stefan's defense would say that. Jen's defense might say that. Okay, I'm not sure if this has been addressed, but how do we think Stefan moved Maddie's body from the apartment to his car? I think he just carried her. I don't think he put her in anything because we haven't seen any indication of that in any of the evidence logs or any of the narratives in the reports. A suitcase, a duffel bag, furniture dolly. We haven't seen any of that. So I would imagine, and I'm completely comfortable being wrong, but I would imagine that he probably just carried her. I mean, he was a 6'1", 6'2" guy. She was a little 13-year-old girl. I imagine it was not that hard to move her physically. Gavin, it's really difficult to determine a time of death after several days decomp. Yeah. Now, time of death, guys, this is and Zach, thank you very much for this comment. This is a subject that I absolutely love talking about. Okay. There are multiple ways to determine time of death beyond the three, what would we call them? Like coroner related forensic methods, the lividity, the algor mortis, the rigor mortis, those three things, right? Certainly they wouldn't be able to narrow it down that way. Maybe with rigor mortis, they could come within a day or two, but they obviously knew what day. And then with algor mortis, they'd be able to say, oh, it's fully set, so it's before this time. But the other forensic ways that they know how to do that is through like the videos of the traffic cams, the red light cameras, the stuff on the apartment complex and that sort of stuff. I don't think that in order to get, like, obviously they're not going to be able to get within like a 30-minute time window or an hour time window. But I think an 8-hour time window or a 10-hour time window is close enough in this case. I think they've got so much on him that that it really doesn't matter. Great comment, Zach. And you're not wrong, by the way. You're definitely right. Do you think Maddie was going to tell on Stefan Stearns about what he was doing to her, and that's why he killed her? Yeah, I mean, that is possibly the reason. Guys, I read a criminal complaint today from my area where a young girl went to her guidance counsel at school, a little bit older than Maddie, and not in Florida, in Pennsylvania, went to her guidance counselor at school and told her that she had been SA'd the night before, but told the guidance counselor that she didn't know who the perpetrator was. And so, of course, Pennsylvania State Police are called in, the Child and Youth Services are called in, and it's another 6 months before, I mean, she was taken and got a forensic examination at a hospital, and there was a Y chromosome that was present. And so they had DNA, but it wasn't until 6 months later that the victim said, "It's my stepdad." And then they were able to test the DNA that they collected against the stepfather and match it, right? The reason I say that is, and as a 49-year-old man, hairy fat guy, I have no concept of how hard that would be for a 13, 14, 15-year-old girl. No concept at all. I can only imagine, right? But the fact that it took her so long to tell police who it was and that she knew the whole time indicates to me just how hard it is to talk to somebody about it, right? So was Maddie going to tell about what he was doing? Maybe she was getting to that age where she was willing to talk and say things out loud that he does not want her to say. And maybe, just maybe, she said something that night of February 25th and he snapped and he took her life. Maybe that's how it happened. But I don't think that we will ever know unless Stephen Stearns decides to tell us. Yeah. And even then, can we believe him? Who knows? Kathleen says, Gavin, I strongly believe women and especially mothers have an intuition, a gut feeling. Jennifer Soto knew something was going on. I don't buy that she didn't. I agree. Jen at least should be charged with neglect. I bet Jen knew, and there was something more sinister going on between drug use at home and drugging Maddie with drowsy meds alone at night in a room. Yeah. Patty says, it's interesting. There's an automated way to see where cars are. Yeah. So as those cameras, let me tell you how I learned about traffic cameras being really good at reading license plates. Okay. I was driving a rental car for the first time in Great Britain. I had to go to the Midlands. And so I picked up the car in London, St. Pancras, and then took it out and I drove it up to the Midlands. And I drove like I was from California. And I saw all over the motorways, I saw pictures of cameras and signs saying cameras in use. And I didn't think about it. And then, when I left the country, I did my business up there in the Midlands. I did a little sightseeing. Then I went back. I returned the car. They said, how did it go, Mr. Fish? And I was like, it was great. I flew home. Then 6 weeks later, my company got a bill for $4,000 for all the speeding tickets. I was having a good time in that nice little Mercedes-Benz rental car. Anyway, the technology to read license plates it predates AI. It's actually pretty darn easy to code the logic to recognize alphanumeric characters. Then the other half of that technology that again predates AI is once that is detected, they enter it into a record, into a database, and you just have a vast growing database that has record after record after record. It probably stores tens of thousands of them a day in a metro area, which costs them nothing because we're talking each record is just like a few bits of data, right? It's a little more than that, but maybe a kilobit or 2 kilobits of data. So they're able to store that stuff. And then when it's in that structured environment, they can use structured query language just to query the numerals that you're looking for, the alphanumeric code you're looking for, and they'll come up with it like that. It's really, it was cutting edge at the time, and it's still very useful at the time it was created, which was, 30 years ago, probably. Pushing 30 years, probably. Yeah, pretty cool, though. Pretty cool stuff. Jessica says the whole situation is horrible, and it is. Let's bring Maddie up again. Yeah, Lynn says, Gavin, I always come back to the Woody Allen comment. So specific. Built to Help says, Gavin, I wholeheartedly believe that Stefan is incapable of doing the laundry list of things that he did. A, without being heard, especially if it were in the morning. B, without help, especially getting her to the car with 4 people there. Yeah, maybe. I respect that opinion. I don't know either way. And I don't know that it matters as far as like building a case against Stearns. It does matter, of course, in building a case against Jen. So I take your point there. Could he do it quietly? It'd have to be early in the morning. Like, we don't know. We know from that timeline that at 7:30, let me go all the way back to page 1 here. Let's bring you guys over to it. How to do that. He's seen on the complex camera at 7:30 a.m. with the victim slumped over in passenger seat. So are we to infer from that the area that he loaded her in the car did not have a camera? That the camera that caught him at 7:30 is in a place that he traveled to later or something? Or are we to believe that 7:30 is about when he put the little Maddie's body in the car? And I don't know the answer to that question. That's it's hard to know. But Art, I always love your comments, and I love your take on things. Kevin, I believe he might have used the leash to keep her partially upright. Possible. Do you think the crime involved sexual asphyxiation? Typically speaking, that type of asphyxiation is done to oneself. Like, I mean, I don't even want to say out loud, but I don't think Madeline wanted to be asphyxiated. But maybe there is a sadist version of that where they enjoy doing the choking. I guess it's possible. Judith says, Gavin, I think she was killed before the car because of the clean socks. One crock in Jen's bedroom. He needed to kill time, hence the vape shop, when he knew they did not open till 10. Yeah, I think you're onto something there, Judith. Oh, Zach. Oh my goodness, Zach. The answer is that Stefan Stearns used acrylic paints for all his figurines he painted, and it wound up in the trash along with her backpack. He did do all those figurines. Good comment. All right, let's see. We've got so many comments, guys. I'm not going to get beautiful pics of Maddie. Let's get Maddie back up here. We need to get her back up here. Let's see. My thing froze again. All right. I don't want to miss. You guys have said so many great things. Figueroso, thank you very much for that super sticker. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's some real personal things that you guys are putting in here that I'm choosing not to show to everybody, but I appreciate those comments. Personal about yourselves. Thank you. Yeah. Caitlin, did you see the Micah case update? Do you have anything to add? Not yet, but I have a friend who is a retired FBI agent. She and her husband are both retired FBI agents. I met her at CrimeCon UK a couple of years ago, and we're going to have her on to talk about FBI raids in general, but specifically we're going to talk about Micah's case. Thank you for that. Excuse me. Yeah, you guys are okay. Women's Warrior. Gavin, I have a new theory, possible pregnancy plan with Madeline Soto and Stefan Stearns in December. The coin, Stefan Stearns and Madeline meltdown Saturday, positive test. Jen Stearns unalives Maddie Stearns. jealous Woody Allen situation. So with that theory, it's possible that Stefan was telling the truth, that he was shocked that he was charged with murder. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, the entrance of the parking lot, the gate has cameras. Okay. I want to kind of wrap this up here, guys. You guys are asking great questions and giving me great comments. Jess says, Gavin, I just hope they don't take forever to go to trial. How long do you think that will take to happen? I think this is a complex case. I think they've got a lot on him. I don't think that it'll go to trial. I think, well, number one out of the gate, the vast majority of cases don't go to trial. I think he will plea on this one, but it might take, he's already waived his right to a speedy trial. So it might take a couple years. Yeah. Where was Maddie while he was putting all of Maddie's things in the dumpster? I think the answer to that question would be in the car. But yeah. Oh, Jessica says, I think he was shocked that it was capital, as in premeditated. Yeah, that's a great comment. Guys, I think we've come to the end of our live stream today. We will continue covering the case. We've got a couple more days here in the week, 3 more days here in the week. I hope that you join me. I will be back tomorrow at 7:30. I have got a couple more documents that I have gleaned out of this 501-page document that I want to talk about. I do have some updates on the Ellen Greenberg case. I have, like I said, what am I trying to say? Wow, I'm blanking. Oh, I'm going to have my FBI buddy on to talk about Micah Miller. I think that we're probably coming close to the end of really just focusing on Maddie Soto, but I will definitely keep my ear to the pavement on this. We will always return to Maddie's case when there are updates on this, but there are some very important other cases that we want to get to. I know that, the Delphi trial is happening right now. And I know that there are some, there are a couple of trials that I want to go over. The Karen Reed case, I understand that there's some news out of there. So I might want to get Mr. McDonough back over on here. There's a lot going on that I want to be able to cover. And I hope that you guys are okay moving on to other cases and circling back around to Maddie. And not just because we've done something like 45, 46 videos on Maddie's case, deservedly so, because it's such an important case. Little Maddie. Oh my goodness. But we will be covering some other stuff. Leave in the comments, either in the live chat or after this video finishes in the main chat, or even better, guys, go over to the fish tank, which is on Facebook. Let me bring it up for you. Go over to the fish tank, join the fish tank. Tell me what cases are important to you. What are ones that you really want me to dive into? And let's discuss them over here on the fish tank. If you're on Facebook, just search the fish tank. You'll find me. Another way to find it is on my website. Just clicking just gavinfish.com and click this little fish up in the corner. That'll take you to the fish tank. And tell me what cases are important to you and what you think I should be digging into. Because I want to bring you guys commentary and content on the cases that you care about. And in the meantime, I'll put my finger back on the pulse of so many other cases that are so important, that are being covered by other channels that I deeply admire here on YouTube. So please do that. However you want to do it. In the live chat, in the comments later, or on the fish tank. Just let me know the cases that are important to you. I will be reading through those, and Autumn and Jamie will be doing the same thing for me, because Jamie and Autumn are the mods over on the fish tank. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I bid you adieu. I will see you the next time, which is tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Until then, take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.